So while people don't really have a problem with these modes on paper, it's more of the core gameplay experience that I think some people are having a problem with. And that's one of the points of contention that I understand, but I don't agree with. And that is the new specialist system. So if you're watching this video and you don't know what Battlefield is, then obviously I know people are mad about this, but I don't necessarily understand it, so I've been watching things to try to understand it, and then I will lay it down for you. But if you're a hardcore old Battlefield vet like me, then you know exactly what's going on here and what the change is. So with Conquest being the main premier game mode that Battlefield is known for, the core gameplay, besides just shooting people, is also the class system, where traditionally you have a series of different classes, and each class has its different setup. If we're going back to classic like Battlefield 4, Battlefield 3, etc., the way those games were set up, which at this point is kind of classic Battlefield for a lot of people, myself included, then you have your Assault class, which is the medic. You have Engineer class, which is self-explanatory. It's an engineer. He's got rocket launchers, explosives, and basically the anti-tank soldier. You can also fix vehicles. Then you have your Support class, which dishes out ammo, lots and lots of ammo, and if they're a good player, and also comes with C4, so they're handy in a pinch if your engineer runs out of explosives. And then you have Recon, which is your sniper. Those are kind of the four typical main classes of Battlefield of days past. Nowadays, those classes are no more, dead and buried in the ground, because now we have the Specialists, which is a series of... This is embarrassing. I don't actually know how many there are. There's a handful of them. More of them are on their way. There more of them will be introduced, because in a bid to remain quote unquote relevant or to keep up with the times or what have you, DICE has introduced these specialists into the game to mimic, say, Overwatch or other hero shooters or Rainbow Six Siege, or even some people are drawing direct comparisons to Call of Duty. I don't really necessarily agree with that connection to Call of Duty. It's like, it's just like Call of Duty where it's not random soldiers anymore. It's skins. It's like, the skins don't really matter. It's you playing as Captain Price in multiplayer Warzone and in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019 does not necessarily give you an advantage over the enemy, because Captain Price does not have any special powers. It's just a skin that you can buy to use. Where the Specialist, they do have special powers that do give you an advantage over one player or another. Of course, the Specialist also has their drawbacks, and every Specialist has their pros and cons, and so it is kind of dipping into that kind of chess game meta. You have to really be intelligent with the way you use things sometimes. So you've got all these new specialists in Battlefield, right? And because they exist, the core classes of Battlefields in years past are now gone, but not really. This is a point of contention with a lot of people, because a lot of people can only see the differences and not the similarities. I'm sort of kind of able to see through the mist a little bit, and while they're different, yes, and they are, I agree, it's a different take for Battlefield, the core of the base classes that we've all come to love are still there at the core. It's just a little harder to recognize. And I think there's just a little bit of a learning curve that some people are having getting used to this. For instance, there is a medic operator. Actually, there's two medic operators. I can't remember the guy's name, but there's Falk, who's a lot of people just call her Grandma. I call her Grandma. There's Grandma, Falk, Falck, I think. That's her name. She comes with a little stim pistol that you can shoot people with that will revive them. And then she generally revives people a lot faster, and then you can give her a med kit to give her even more health to dish out. So that class is made to be the medic. And then there's another guy that's a medic as well. Then there's support specialists. That there's one guy who's again, and that is one that I will admit that is one of the issues with these guys, is that they're not necessarily memorable. It may take you a couple tries to remember a new operator in Siege if you play Siege, but you get it pretty easily. These new guys, these new specialists in Battlefield, I just, And some of them are even kind of close to other names. So there's the one guy named McKay, but I want to call him McCree from Overwatch. Of course, he's not named McCree anymore from Overwatch, because they changed his name because the guy McCree was named after turned out to be a scumbag. So, yeah, that's not awkward at all. But so, his name is McKay, but I still want to call him McCree because of Overwatch, because McCree, or whatever the heck he's named now, it has a memorable character and is a memorable design. So, I guess by proxy, McKay is memorable with a name, but it's because he reminds me of other games. It'd be like if Splitgate came out with this. I don't know. They may have. I don't play the game. I just know that it blew up all of a sudden. But if they had a discount Master Chief in it, and his name was Chef, but people could only remember that his name is Chef because it's close to Chief, and he looks like Master Chief from Halo. So anyway, so I mean, but so while the personalities and maybe even the looks of some of these specialists aren't really the most unique, and they're not necessarily, I'm going to back up. I do agree that it really does feel like the DNA of other games is kind of infecting Battlefield, and it does kind of feel copycat-ish, but I don't hate it. They're not memorable, but they are unique. And maybe not unique, because there's definitely things you've seen in other video games. But in terms of like stuff Battlefield has done before, some of it is unique. For instance, McKay, the guy I was just talking about, he has a grappling hook. Who doesn't love using a grappling hook? Just zipping around the map left and right on your grappling hook. And he's a very limber guy, so McKay is kind of a specialist he's a little bit of a cross between different things. He could be an engineer. He could be he doesn't necessarily have the more obvious healing abilities like Falk does, but because he's quick and nimble, he could maybe get around faster and revive people. And but maybe he could be a recon, maybe he could be a sniper because you can get up to places that you wouldn't normally be able to because of your grappling hook. So you have a little bit of room to experiment, and I like that. I like the ability to experiment because it's one of those things I really understand people not enjoying it. I do. I enjoying the changes. I really do understand it because it is such drastic changes, but at the same time, I understand why the changes were made, and I kind of like them, while also lamenting what was lost. But what was lost was not really lost, and it really is just kind of this big kind of this whole game is to me, in a positive way, for me anyway. To a lot of people, it's a but to me, it's a It's not a it's a I give this 3 out of That's it. But, so anyway, I really like the ability to experiment because in prior Battlefield games, which again was the point of the game design behind it, so I understand that, where it was so segmented that you were forced into a role. If you're running around as a recon, your best strategy is to snipe, because that's the guy that has all the sniper rifles. He's got the spawn beacon, so you can spawn in the map wherever you want as long as it doesn't get destroyed by the enemy. You can run off and hide in the corner of a map and start sniping people from atop of a high hill or something like that, blah, blah, blah. If you're an engineer, your best bet is to be running around helping people repair their vehicles, take out enemy vehicles, set landmines, blah, 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 all that stuff. And the point behind all of this is to help out the team. In theory. Kind of because people are people, and people don't necessarily always do what you want. People kind of ended up abusing this in a way where it's like I was joking about. If you're a good player when you're playing support, you will give out ammo. It's gotten better over the years, I'll admit. But there was a time back in the day in Battlefield 3 and early days of Battlefield 4 where people just would not dish out health and ammo. It was just kind of a problem. you just be standing, it's like because unlike, say, Call of Duty, where you die left and right and left and right and left and right, depending on what's going on in Battlefield and the map you're on and how you're playing, you could maybe only die like a grand total of 2 times in an entire match, and this match could last upwards of a half hour or an hour. So you really do have these these opportunities to live a long time in Battlefield, which means you can run out of ammunition. If you run out of ammunition in Call of Duty, you're dead, because someone's going to come around the corner in the next half second and blow your face off because you can't shoot back. Unless you're playing Warzone, but that's a different beast entirely. In Battlefield, you could run out of ammo and then sit in a building and hide and shiv someone when they come down, but then they don't drop ammo for you to... Well, no, never mind. You could pick up their kit and then you have ammo back probably. But anyway, so if you run out of ammo, then you do need to go find a support player and be going, hey, I need ammo. And then, way back in the day, again, it's gotten better, but back in the day, you used to sit going, hey, I need ammo. Hey, I need ammo. Hey, I need ammo, and they do nothing. And that still happens when you encounter noobs, because it's like you can go to GameStop and pick up Battlefield 4 for like $5 or $10 on PS4 and just fire it up. It's like, oh, I like modern military shooters. Let's try this out. And then you get sucked in, but you don't know what you're doing. So suddenly you've got 3 guys in your squad going, hey, I need ammo. Hey, I need ammo. Hey, I need ammo. So while the intent, obviously, was for the classes to help with teamwork, in some cases, not all the time, but sometimes, and it depends on the player, of course, and a lot of times it did work the way it was intended to, but not always, because that's just how people in video games work. While it was intended for team play to be the point behind the way classes worked, it didn't always. Now, was it broken, per se? I don't think so. I think it worked. For the most part, it worked. Yeah, you'd occasionally run into a bad player, and they would do something really dumb and not give you ammo and stuff like that. Vehicle waste has always been a problem in Battlefield, and I doubt I really doubt that's gonna stop anytime soon. So there's always these little problems that you just get with bad players and idiot players and stuff. But for the most part, the system worked. So it is kind of if it's not broke, why fix it? But just because something works doesn't mean that... See, because I just said, if it's not broken, why try to fix it? And then I immediately go into, it's like, why do you want it to get stagnant? So, but that is if it's not broke, why is so? It's 2 ideologies that are totally clashing with one another, and I feel like that's a great way to describe this game. It's multiple ideologies that are really clashing with one another, where a lot of it is classic Battlefield that I love, but a lot of it is also newish stuff that Battlefield hasn't necessarily done before that I'm liking so far. So it really is this weird clash of ideologies of how to make this game that I really understand why it's a turnoff for so many people, and I understand it, but I don't agree with it because I'm having fun. So yeah, that's how classes used to work in Battlefield, and now we have specialists, which to a lot of detractors, the people that are not liking the game, they say that specialists kind of promote individual, instead of teamwork, it's providing more incentives for people to go off on their own. But as I was saying a minute ago, sometimes in Battlefield, that's what happens anyway. So right now, while this is what I was talking about a few minutes ago about the learning curve, where I think the system DICE has come up with actually works out pretty well, again, on paper. Whether or not the community ends up figuring this out and understanding it is another matter, and I think this is going to maybe have something to do with some of the tweaks and changes that are made over the next couple weeks and months. But I feel like the specialists, the way they are designed, while the specialists themselves do, I agree, they are more built for the individual. When you look at kind of their subclass type of settings and their ability and some of their abilities, because it's like Falk, she can heal herself. But the whole, which is very, very selfish, very self-centered too. It's like, oh, I'm low on health, I can heal myself. So yeah, she has that. But then the whole rest of her character is about helping other people. She can revive people faster. Anyone can. That's one of the changes they've made, is that now anyone can equip an ammo or medic bag. But I think that's just more of player option, player choice. So now you can snipe and give yourself ammo if you need, and manage to get up to a position and place a spawn beacon, so that way in breakthrough your squad can spawn on you and jump down and maybe parachute into the objective and capture it. That I think is, and while the sniper stays up there and snipes with an unlimited supply of ammo and covers you, that I think is good. However, at the same time, there is the option that that can be used for bad, where the sniper just goes to the opposite end of the map and sits there the entire time and snipes people from 1,500 feet away, but he's not a good sniper, so he just misses every shot, and he's just not contributing at all. So, there's a balance. It could go really well, it could go really bad, but that's all part of giving players options, right? I mean, you just kind of, the good ones will do good things with what they're given, and the bad ones will do bad things with what they're giving. I don't really know if that's really that much different from the way things worked before, when you only had the four very strict classes. So in some ways, I see why people are upset about this, but it's sort of also kind of been the way it's always been. It's just got a slightly different coat of paint on it now. I don't know if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense, because that's kind of one of my big arguments about this, where it's like, some of these problems have been problems with Battlefield for ages. It's just that it's being presented a little differently now, so now you're just now arguing about it, or you're arguing about it in a different way. And maybe I'm blind to some things. It's like, no one's perfect. We all have our opinions on this stuff, and I understand that. But I do want to. That's also kind of the point of me doing this as more of a free-form video, is that I do want to promote more general discussion about this game, and not vitriolic shouting at each other over the internet like I've seen a lot of. Like, the subreddit is just a toxic waste dump of people. Like, you cannot have a dissenting opinion in that subreddit, or else people are going to jump down your throat. And it's like, well, that's the internet in a nutshell. So I would really like for us to be able to calmly and collectively discuss this, so DICE can get better feedback of what actually works and what actually doesn't work, instead of people just going, you guys are awful, I hope you guys get shut down by EA and never make a video game again because you suck, because I see a lot of that too, and it's unfortunate. So unfortunately the specialists are generating a lot of that, and that it is a big change up in the game, but I don't know, I'm really enjoying the specialists. I haven't played all of them, but that's another thing about player choice. I'm kind of finding my groove with a select couple of them, and I'm kind of getting comfortable. So having these wide, varied specialists that do different things, but each of them is sort of kind of also supporting one of the old class types, like Casper. I mean, he's made to be a sniper. That is obvious, and you can just tell that by his design. He's wearing the ghillie suit. In the trailers and stuff, they've got him using sniper rifles. In his character profile image on like the website, he's using a sniper rifle and stuff like that. So I mean, he's obviously made to be the recon. He's obviously made to be the sniper. So you're probably going to use him to snipe. Now, you don't have to use him to snipe, and I think that's cool. I like that little bit of player choice. He's obviously tailored towards one thing, but if you want to use him for something else, you can. And I think that's cool. Whether or not long-term that really works out remains to be seen. But base concept, I that's why I like the specialists. Because they're little unique abilities. Like Casper has a drone. McKay can jump around on a zip line. The one guy I really like, whose name I can't remember, but he's like a big angry Russian dude. Not really angry, more boisterous Russian dude, whose name is not Boris. He's the guy with the riot shield. But, the not Boris, he's got an auto turret. He's got a little sentry gun that you can put down. So, I mean, this guy's obviously made to be the support. And it's like the only thing that doesn't make him support is he's not wearing bullets around his neck like the support class in BF3. I mean, that's obviously a support guy. So, I mean, there's so many of these classes. Some of them, like McKay, can kind of be a mix. He can kind of be what you want. But others, like, oh, that guy's an engineer. Some of them, when you hover over them, even, they have the recommended, like, little icon right next to them. It's like, oh, this, Irish. Irish I only remember because he was in Battlefield 4. Otherwise, I probably have no idea who this guy is. But, Irish, he's an engineer. He comes with deployable cover that you can use to fortify your position and shoot down tanks with your rocket launcher, or use it to cover yourself while you're fixing a friendly tank with your repair tool. So that does add to the switch up, is that now, because of their little unique abilities, it does take away one of the gadget slots. So now you only have room for one gadget. So you really do have to kind of be thinking on your feet about what gadget you want at any time, because one of your equipment slots is locked with the unique ability. But I mean, I don't know. I think the variety just adds a little bit more to that. Going back to Rainbow Six Siege, it's just a little bit more thinky. You gotta think just the teeniest bit more, and I like that. I like it when games make me think about that and strategize a little bit, which Battlefield is already good at doing. With your 4 classes, you get with your friends and you go, okay, who's running this? Sometimes you just get with your friends and you just run around like headless chickens and just do whatever the heck you want, and you probably lose a bunch. But if you're smart, you get with your group of friends in your squad and you run around like a well-performing unit of chickens who do not have their heads cut off, and one is the recon, one is the medic, or maybe you do have multiple people in your squad running multiple of the same class, but then you're all performing your duties. So it's like, all right, you got 2 medics, a sniper, and a support, so that way you have plenty of ammo for your snipers. You got a medic to revive people, and then your support, if a tank should come up, has C4 with it to blow up a tank. So I mean, there's always been that little bit of extra thinkiness to Battlefield that I really, really love. That it's just makes it that much different from, say, Call of Duty, which is run around, shoot, die, run around, shoot, die, run around, shoot, die, run around, shoot, die. And that's fine. I like that too. Sometimes it is really awesome to turn off your brain. But, of course, you can like the specialist, not like the specialist, but that's not really going to matter much if the game doesn't work. And that's a big problem that a lot of people have been having with this game, is that it just doesn't work. It seems like most of the bigger issues got ironed out after that pre-release week, where it was you pay $100 and you get to play it for a week of early access, which is, I don't know why anyone went for that. I mean, I feel like people getting angry and upset that they essentially paid $100 to do an extra beta test. I think they just have themselves to blame. I mean, that seemed like, on EA's part, that seemed like pretty obvious. I don't know. I saw through that in a moment, so I don't know why some people did that. And some people may have gone in expecting that anyway and were still upset about it, which, okay, fine. But if anyone was expecting a stable launch in the pre-release week, then I don't know what you were expecting. So you kind of have yourself to blame on that one for getting suckered into the $100 price point. Or more than that, but anyway, yeah. So the game has been called very glitchy, very buggy, and it is buggy, I will say. But I think there is a difference. We kind of use these terms as synonyms, but I think there is kind of a difference between a glitch and a bug. A bug, I think, is something that's kind of insignificant, like textures not loading in, or them being kind of slow to load in. And that's not even necessarily a problem with the game, as in it's broken. It's just it takes a moment for it to load. So you're seeing a lot of footage of, some textures loading in really late, and just a lot of, just typical things that you kind of expect in Battlefield, because the Frostbite engine has always just been a little janky, which I like about it, honestly. It's great for building first-person shooter open worlds. But it just does have but because it is so, these maps are so large, they do have a little bit of jank with like the physics and character models and stuff like that on occasion. Sometimes textures will take a little while to load in. So, but that stuff, I feel like if anyone's getting upset about that in a Battlefield game, just stop, because that has always been a problem with Battlefield. Maybe not on PC, because you and your you PC elitists out there, you've got your fancy $3,000 graphics cards or whatever, GPUs and all that stuff. So maybe texture pop-in hasn't really ever been something for you. But for us console plebs, texture pop-in has always been an issue with us. Things just flying, pinwheeling in the air when they're not supposed to, stuff like that. That's happened for years. That is something that has always happened with Battlefield. It's not going to be something I don't think is going to be fixed anytime soon. But the major issues that people are saying with this game in terms of actual glitches, where like the loadouts disappearing, or the map not loading in or properly, or something like that. I haven't had any issues like that at all on PS4. The most I've really had are just kind of like the occasional texture glitch, texture bug. And, it's like, oh, that person didn't load in properly, so the opening cutscene looks a little wonky. But other than that, that's just typical Battlefield stuff I got used to a long, long time ago, so I don't really have that big of a problem with it. Hit reg is something that people have been talking a lot about. Is it netcode related? Is it Bloom? Which one is it? I don't really know about that. I haven't really had much issues with it. There have been a couple moments while playing where I'm going, where do those bullets go? I think that may have been a hit reg issue. But then 98% of the rest of the time I'm shooting people, and if I'm not hitting the target, then I know I am to blame, where it's like, well, my aim was just terrible there. Or did I really go full auto at that distance? Of course none of my shots hit, or something like that. But on the very few, there have been one or two occasions where I should have hit all of my shots and I just didn't hit anything. And it is like some of those videos that you see online where people just unload an entire mag into a group of people and they only get 2 hit markers somehow because the hit reg was just busted. So I don't know if that's the problem has been just fixed overall, or if that was not a problem on PS4. But that's my experience with it. So it is kind of odd to see people complaining about this game being so glitchy and just busted in a lot of ways, and it's just not for me. So some people saying that this is the worst technical launch of a Battlefield in the series history. I'm like, I don't know. At least there's one SKU of the game that works for the most part pretty well, where with Battlefield 4, when it launched, didn't really work on anything. It didn't work on PC, it didn't work on PS3, PS4, the Xboxes, etc. It was just completely busted, and it took them months to actually fix it to where it was playable on any platform. On PS4, and maybe since it's probably, they can be comparable, even though I haven't played it to try, maybe it's potentially the same story on the Xbox One, but at the same time I've also seen some unique bugs on the Xbox side of things that I'm not sure which Xbox people are playing on, so maybe Xbox isn't that great either. But I can at least say that that it's not as bad as Battlefield 4, because at least one SKU of the game works. Now that's still not great, I admit, because you would hope that when a game is launched, it actually works on day one. And by day one, I mean day one, the actual day that the game is supposed to come out, not the week of early access. That, for me, that's a beta. They can do whatever they want. If the game is totally busted for that week and they swindle you out of $100+, that's maybe dirty business practices. But the game's not officially out yet. You're paying for the privilege of playing it early, so if it's a little more busted than on day one when the day one patch comes in, oh well. I understand if you don't agree with that, but that's just my view on it. But day one, you would hope that the game would work properly. I understand there have been a couple things that slip past devs and QA people and stuff, but it would be nice if for once, if one of these games launched in a good state where the game was actually stable. There's only 2 times in recent Battlefield history that I can remember a Battlefield game launching in good condition, and that's Battlefield Hardline and Battlefield 1. Hardline, no one ever talks about anymore, no one really remembers, and no one's even really bringing up in this conversation in terms of Battlefield games, which is sad because I really like that game. But it is what it is. But Battlefield Hardline worked at launch. There was a couple small little things at launch, but I bought it day one, played it day one, had an area problem day one. Battlefield 1 did not get that day one. I waited a couple months before I got that. But for the most part, from what I didn't see any big outrage posts online of people going, "This game doesn't work. It's busted." I didn't see anything like that. So Battlefield 1 launched pretty well. Battlefield 5 had a couple issues. I don't think it was as bad as it's been before. And of course, now 2042 is launched in a not so great state. But hey, at least one of the SKUs is working properly for the most part. So, I mean, I guess you gotta take what you can get, right? This is the end of part 2 of my Battlefield 2042 review. Please come back later for the next installment, or if it's already been a while and it's right here sitting there in front of your face, go ahead and click the link to watch the next part. Thanks for watching.